All right, friends, today we're going to work on an orange one. Not this one, but it is moving closer in line, so we'll get back to that soon. But I'll tell you about it right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Allis Chalmers, man. We got to go over and work on that 175 that Dad bought. It has developed a fuel leak, and it is letting air in the system, and then the tractor loses prime, and then it's hard to start. And I'm not saying that this fuel leak is going to be the only thing that fixes the problem, but the tractor didn't do that before it started leaking. So we're going to see what happens. So I got an idea. I think we can make it work, because I could order a new piece, but it's $169, and I think we can probably make something work. So we're gonna go over there and check it out. All right, little thing, it's been going so good, and then it doesn't. But what's going on here is it's got like a thermo starter thing, just like the 1365 has on it, where it actually feeds in some diesel fuel and then ignites it. And so what we're gonna do here is take this line off, which is the one that's leaking, and we're gonna see if we can make something that doesn't leak. And we'll go back to the other side. All right, that should have loosened that. Should have done. Yeah. This little fancy braided line is expensive. $169 to be exact. And I'm pretty sure that what we can do is get us a piece of brake line that size, and we'll just make it out of that and then connect it with a hose up there. So that's my thinking. I might be foiled on that, but for now that's the plan. Let's see if we can get like I said, I don't know that that's the only reason why it won't run, but or why it bleeds off and gets air in it, but it didn't do that before. How about that? That end's a different size, but that's okay. We can come up with some solution here. Let's take this back to the truck. I'd say we're gonna have to run to town because I don't have any with me, but let's double check sizes. It's probably metric. Why wouldn't it be? You know? Why wouldn't it be? It also kind of looks like 3/16. Is that the size line? Looks like it. So we could use that nut again if we have to. It would be neat to know if it was American sizes. Let me see if I got a 3/16 T in my little box of sadness back here. We might be in business here. Let's see. Is that this size? Okay, well this screw onto this. Oh, it won't let me because of the long. Well, I bet that'll work. Let me go to the tractor and try this out. since I can't try it this way. I'll have to run to town to get stuff we need, but we'll see what happens. Oh, where did it go? There. Okay. Well, that'll fit on there. So we might be able to make this go. So I'll have to go get some stuff and come back. Alright. Here's what we came up with. I'm going to cut this end off and bend it to fit in that starter deal up there. And hopefully it'll work. Maybe. Can't hold it. What kind of angle we gotta make? Trying to figure out what kind of. Put a 90 in like this. That's probably a little much. Oh. There we go. Like that. There we go. Maybe.
Well, I accidentally got it.
What are you trying to do?
Huh?
What are you trying to do?
Put that shield back on and blow that battery. Get those holes to line up.
Okay, now we'll go to the other side. It's hard to do with the hood on, but okay, there's our line coming over. And I can actually, I got enough room I can bend it differently to get it more out of the way. Because it's awfully close now to what we're doing here. And this type of line is very flexible. See, there's our line we're going to go to. But I'm going to go differently. I forgot to tighten that. Oh, goodness. I'm afraid this old brittle line's too, well, maybe not too difficult to. That would work, I think. Let's try it like that. That's touching rubber, so that's good. Let's take a look at what else could be leaking and letting in air. Something has to be. I wonder if it's the line sleeve on the tank, maybe.
I'm putting more diesel in, so it should leak then.
Well, it won't necessarily leak out, it'll leak air in before it leaks fuel out. It could be this. I also wonder if maybe this lift pump leaks just enough.
That it's what?
If the lift pump is the problem, it might leak just enough that it...
Does anything seem
could
loose?
be. Not really. I mean, there's so many places it could leak air. I just don't know. I mean, yeah, pump it up, but it's gonna...
It's gonna have air in it now since you took that line.
No, that's on the other side. That's on the opposite side. That should never matter, I don't think, unless for some reason it... Ah, now I'm dropping it. Get on there and...
Getting up there. Just give me a second. Acted like it was.
That's like it's not making connection all the time. Go ahead and try it again.
I did, and
It's not making connection. Should have made a new positive battery cable. That was another thing that it needs. And I didn't. Try it again.
it's not going to.
No, if it's got air in it, we gotta... Okay, just a minute.
Want me to pump
Not
it
yet, no.
by hand?
Nope, you're gonna crank it in a minute whenever I get it figured out what size I want.
5/8 for
Injector lines?
injector line.
Yeah, it looks like there's fuel right here. I don't get that. Crank it. Hello? All right. Okay. That makes no sense, how it can have fuel coming to the injectors and not run. That don't make sense at all. I mean, why is it not even smoking? It's not firing the injectors? Try it now. Crank. It'll run all day now, I'm sure, but... It had fuel everywhere. I don't know why it wouldn't run. That's so weird that it wouldn't.
But I mean, the other day you had to spray and spray and spray.
I wonder if it's because we don't have that thing hooked up.
What thing?
Maybe that was helping us all the time just enough, and it has to have that.
What's that?
That electric
That
thing.
wire?
Those internationals will not start even in 150-degree heat unless you use the glow plug. And maybe this motor's the same way. Maybe it has to have the help.
So where does it go?
It goes to the key switch, but we need to make sure the key switch is doing the thing we want it to do. See, now it was hooked up where it was always hot, and that's not right. It's got to be hooked up where it's like temporary hot, like only when you do this.
Right.
And the whole time it was hooked up, I think it was on all the time. You know, like, and as soon as you turn the key on, it was on, and that's not what you need either. You just need it to help you start, but I can't believe that it has to have that in the summer. But some of them do. Maybe these are like that. I don't know. All right, I'm back home again. We were both getting frustrated, and I got it running so he can use it today. But I'm getting very puzzled, friends, because it's bizarre what that tractor's doing. I mean, the problem initially started, he used it one day, he parked it for the night, the next day went back, it wouldn't start. My cousins who work at the deer dealership were bringing him a load of hay. They bled the air out, got it running again, ran all day fine. Then the next time you want to use it, same problem. So it's obviously getting air in there somewhere, and these cab systems are kind of hard to get the air out of. I know a lot of people who own these little 1365s told me, oh man, if you ever run it out of fuel or if you change the fuel filters, you cannot get it started again. But if you hook a chain to it and you pull it 5 feet, it'll run. And that's, I think, the similar situation that we're having here. Unfortunately, in Allis Chalmers, you really can't pull, because if you pull it, you could get the hand clutch spinning too fast and it'll eject itself out the side of the transmission housing, and then you got a junk tractor, so you don't want to do that. But it's just weird that it'll run all day once you get it started. So that to me tells me, here's what I've done so far, which I didn't maybe talk about, but the other day I changed the fuel filters because they hadn't been changed for a long time, and I thought maybe that would fix it. No dice. So now my two prime suspects left are, I think that the fitting under the fuel tank has a rubber line sleeve in it, and that's possible that that could be leaking. And then my other culprit would be the lift pump. Lift pumps are notorious for problems, but usually the problem they have is they put fuel in the oil. I don't know that I've had one where it just leaked out overnight, but then it was fine. You know, it would either pump or it wouldn't. So this is kind of bizarre that this one's working fine except after it sits overnight. So I don't know. That's my next two things we're going to do to it, which if that's not it, oh well, that's not going to hurt it. I mean, it's probably working on its original. I would say the fitting under the tank's probably never been touched, and that lift pump looks like it could be an original too. So that's worth a try. It's just weird that it was working fine one day and then not working at all. But if it was the injection pump itself, I feel like it wouldn't run like that. It wouldn't run good, and I just feel like it just, I don't know. I'm not to the point yet where I feel like I can say the injection pump is our problem. I just don't think so. I think it's just that it's getting air somewhere, and I've went about everywhere I can go. The only that fuel system has different fittings. It's got like, the fittings are into these filter housings, almost like brake line fittings, tapered or whatever, so they're not really going to go bad per se. There is one filter that has a lot of banjo bolt type fittings. That's possible, I guess, that it could be letting in some air, but I don't know. The more I think about it, the lift pump is probably the culprit, but it's just weird that it kind of works. So I don't know. I might order one of those and see what happens. Like I said, it's not going to hurt it to have new parts on it because we're working on older stuff there. So I just noticed that my key, if you got one of these, everybody said, hey, the key will blow out, and it sure does every single time. That's why I tied an obnoxious key ring on it, because the wind, friends, the wind will blow it down. But at any rate, I think we're going to leave this one here. I don't know that we accomplished anything, but hey, I did get the tractor running. He can use it today. Hopefully he can get it started tomorrow, and whatever, and we'll keep plugging away at it till we figure it out. That's the joy of buying used stuff. You got to sort out everybody else's problems. So all right, I don't know that was enough of a video on its own, so I'm going to throw in some more stuff. We're going to put this little feller away, and we're going to get the other loader tractor out, and we're going to move some hay bales. I have had hay bales sitting all around, and I don't like that. I didn't get it done. Doing too many things at once here, trying to wrap up my hose. Yeah. But anywho's, what I was saying Get in there. There. We got those hay bales delivered, and I've been putting them every which way, and I still got a pile of them out there I didn't put away because the cows were in the place where I put them, and I have to fence them off or they'll get in there and eat them before they're supposed to. So I was putting that off because the weather was so hot and I really didn't feel like working on fence and stuff right in the direct sunlight and whatever, but I closed it off yesterday so I could do this and spray fence. And while we do that, we're going to put the bales in there, string some wire up, and be done with it. So we'll put this in the shed. We'll get that 1650, which we'll have to air up the front tire because it worked. I bragged on it is what happened. It had been going flat, then all at once it quit that, and it didn't go flat for like 2 months until I said something the other day, and now it's sitting there flat. So hopefully we can air it up for one more go and get this job done today, and then we'll figure out what its issue is. But yeah, this doesn't need to be sitting in the middle of the driveway because it's school bus time, and I need to, you know, get my act together, clean up stuff, and get out of here. Oh, this is one of the flaws of the little David Brown. They do not give you any room to get your feet in there. If the wheels turn and that drag link is back, forget it. You ain't getting your foot in there. So, and I hate to step on it because if it breaks, sad times are coming your way. Turning around, don't freak out. Sleep. Oh. Cute little horse. We need to rearrange. They're not in the right orientation. I can get so much more in here if I just reorganize, but that is a time for another day or such. I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I'm talking about. I'm glad to see these weeds bowing their heads in shame. I finally had time to zap them. I'm getting tired of this jungle. All right. Oh, it is flat. Like not even just a little. It's full on. Yeah. I'll go fire up the air compressor, drag the air hose over here, and then we'll get this out. You can see I did some experimentation with that rust gel on this, and I'm not as happy with the results on it. It did make it a little less brown. It needs more coats of it as part of it, but it's just not a spectacular result on the green paint as it is on the white wheels for whatever reason. All right. Come on, tire. Don't fail us now. We need you. Are we going to be able to make this happen? Remains to be seen. Lots of water infiltration, sure. I'm not surprised. Come on, baby. Hard to tell if we're making like how we are on the process because it's down in this hole. Most people would probably move it, you know, but not me. All right, well, that's not ideal, but we're going to use it anyway. I think mainly what it's doing is there's water in the tire And now that I've inflated the tube, it's spraying out. You know what I'm saying. So. Look at that sweetheart. Hasn't run in weeks. I can't decide if it's gonna rain. It kind of looks like it can't make up its mind. It's a little bit cloudy, but I don't know. I'll take it because it's not as hot this way. Oh yeah. When it was 1,000 degrees outside, we just kind of neglected this area. So it's time to do something about it. I don't like that I did that because it probably killed all the grass under those bales, but yeah, see, it just, though, it wasn't it wasn't easy to motivate yourself to work when it was so hot. One of, I don't know what there is there, 50. So I'm going to be doing a lot of forking. It's just not as much fun when you're forking by yourself. Wow, there we have it. I guess that would be 54 bales. There's 11 in a row and 5 rows, and the front row only has 10. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, I'm no math magician, but I think that's 54. So, That took longer than I thought. I thought, hey, an hour I'll get that knocked out, and I think it's been closer to almost 3 hours, but I didn't go at a lightning clip either. I just kind of went at a steady pace. And yeah, so all we have to do now is set the wire up. That'll keep them out of here for now. I want to redo this all before winter. I don't know if I've said that before, but my plan is I'm going to get panels and come about off of here, go straight over to there, make a corner there, and put maybe a couple gates in there. And my thinking is, if I get the rotational grazing thing down at some point, this would be about half of that other field, you know, and so I could just split down the middle of the two gates, run a temporary fence, open one gate to let them in one half, open the other to let them in another half, have a gate over here to get into here, probably do a double gate on everything so that I can get like the hay mower through easily and everything, and then redo that so it'll be panels all the way to the corner there. That way this will be a whole nother pen that's surrounded by panels, which, you know, that will keep them in an emergency. And this is a big enough area here that they would all fit in here in an emergency, and it'll just be handier. Like I said, I want to get behind the barn finished too. We never got that all the way done, but there was a lot of trees and stuff to cut over there, and then it was so muddy last time we worked on it, I couldn't get the tractor to get anything pulled out, and it just was a headache. So that's another thing. And then I would have 3 pens that are totally surrounded by panels that I could corral them in at nighttime or in an emergency. But really I'm thinking winter time, you see, because if we have bad snowstorm, it's awfully handy to be able to have, you know, some bales ahead of time set up. Like I could have 2 in here in hay rings, and I could have 2 in there in the middle, and then 2 over behind the barn or whatever, and I could just keep opening a gate to let them get where they needed to go. Likewise, if the water was frozen, you know, behind the barn, I've got a good tile I can chip most any time. It hardly ever freezes where you can't get water to them there, but I could have another water trough over here where I could run to town and just back the pickup up to the fence and give them water in an emergency situation, like in the wintertime when everything's frozen and you can't get, you know. I think this would help. I've thought about this for years and just never had time to do it and whatever, but now is the time. But what I'm getting at is this will be temporary then, wires around here, and I think what I'll do is get some panels for the other end and make it, you know, this side will be part of my other fence, and then if I put panels over on that side, then all I have to have is something to keep them out of the front, and that will cut down on temporary wiring, because it gets ripped down on the sides and stuff, and that's annoying. And I even have thoughts of maybe I need to get on the old Facebook Marketplace and see about some of those like corral panels that they pin together, you know. I could, in theory, get some of them and sit across the front, and then I could just, you know, fold one away, get some bales out or whatever, or take them down in the winter or whatever I had to do. But I don't know. You just don't know. But then that would also give me another, I could get to potentially use that as a little pen. If you had a cow and a calf, you had to keep separate, you know, so that they weren't running all over creation, because it seems like they always want to give birth in the worst weather when you can't get to anything or do anything. So things can happen. There are possibilities that I think just a few more panels will unlock, and then I'll be able to have so much more ability to do things easily without having to struggle. And I don't like struggling. I'm about over it, you know. Plus, I like the idea of rotating them around to graze. This year it didn't really work like I had planned. I could still graze them on that instead of cutting it again, which I might end up doing because it is kind of short. I don't know if it's worth second cutting as much as it would be grazing on it, but This year is unusual. You know, we got a lot of rain, so everything has kept growing. So they have had plenty of green grass everywhere they go, and it's been fine. So, but some years aren't like that, and it would be handy to be able to move them around different places. Likewise, that field down in the, what I would call the bottoms there, where we were when we fixed the fence the other day, where the tree blew over it, I could divide that into one, or into two, possibly three pieces that they could rotate on, you know, if I did it right. And then my thinking is work off of this central pin, you know, and have gates where I could have them only in there, and have a gate here and let them into this piece. Or I could do things without having to have them cross over something else that I don't want them in, you know, or not have to set up so much temporary fence to make that happen. You know, if I wanted them to go not in this pin but over to those, I could do things, you know. But that's in the back of my brain as something to do before winter, and I don't know how that's going to play out. But these definitely had to get put away where they belonged. And I mean, we're full. I've got the other lot full. I think I have all together, with what I baled and what I bought, I think I have around 140 bales, I think. I'll have to go recount again. I've got 50, what did I say, 54 right here. And there's just almost 100 over there in that other place. So, you know, we're around 140 to 150, I think. And, you know, what is half of a year is 180, is that right? So I don't know, I'm thinking a bale, ideally a bale for 2 days, but it never works out that way. It depends on the weather. Sometimes they eat a lot more, but I would rather be on the safe side of, like, figure a bale a day through the whole winter time when I feed them. But I don't quite have enough to do that, but I don't think that'll be a problem. Usually you can get 2 days or at least a day and a half out of a bale. I've been putting out 2 at a time and then get 3 days. So figure that as you want, you know. So 2 bales every 3 days. I think I've got plenty to get to the next spring, but if I can get a few more, I might do that just to, so I don't have to do it. And it's a lot easier to write another 0 on the check than it is to have to hook up the trailer in the middle of winter and then drive 100 miles to go find it and then write a whole bunch of 0s on a check when you could have just done it ahead of time. So I don't know, we'll see how that plays out, but I'm satisfied with what I've got on hand right now, that I've got a good start. So and I think that, like I said, all this pasture is going to hold out for a good while yet. It's not like it's going to be, usually this time of year it's dry and dead and whatever, and they're starting to munch on bales. But I've had a bale out in there in their nighttime pen for 2 months, and they just nibble on it. They haven't eaten it. It's still basically bale shaped. So that tells me they're getting plenty of stuff that they need out here. Yeah, I thought about grinding a load of feed just to start, you know, kind of getting them on that regimen again towards fall, but it's a little early yet, I think. I don't know. I gave them a salt block the other day. They made short work of that, so might get a few more of that kind of stuff and whatever. But yeah, I don't know if this is interesting or not, but like I've said many times before, the videos you see are the stuff that I do every day. So I'm not filming anything special just for YouTube. It's just things that I would be doing. If I'm working on an old tractor, that's because that's what I like to do as my hobby. So I film that or whatever. And then there's things I have to do like this. So until next time, I suppose we will call this one here.